Hello everyone. So again we are on the chapter number 8, that is Mauryan Age. In the last session we have seen, so again we'll go chronologically only, because it's always better that if we go chronologically, we remember the things, we remember like what and how did the events got developed. Okay, so again in each session I put some pressure, I emphasize that you should go chronologically. There are n number of reasons why we need to go through the chronology, because see, at the ancient times the things were splitted into the several factors, and we need to study how the several factors collaborated and took a way out for the more developed and the progress state. And that is why I emphasize each and every time to my students that whenever you go chronologically, whenever after understanding the chronology, you need to also understand the geographical locations also. And that is why whenever I teach, I try to make my students very friendly with the mapping. Because unless and until you are not friendly with the mapping, you can't dive deeper into the history. So the first is event, that is chronology, you want to go eventually. And second is you need to go geographically also. When you combine both of the stories into the single story, you will understand the beauty of history subject. Because history is a subject not to be taken as a fact, but it has to be taken as a story. Because all of this has been already happened in our past. And what we study is from the details, the stories which were written by our ancestors. And these stories written by the ancestors are very well related to the geography as well as the major events. So to understand the major events, first we need to understand the geography. Once you understand the geography, once you understand the resources that were available during this period, you will understand why did this events took place. Now, if we study many of the events, like today also we are going to study such events with respect to the Mauryan Age. But whenever you study major events in the history, you will study that most of these events are interrelated to the resources of that particular region. Why did Kalinga War happen? Or why did the continuous 10 years wars, or especially the 7 years war happen in the during or before the French Revolution? Why did 13 colonies got together to result it into the American Revolution? What was the reason behind it? So all these reasons are related to your geographical features and the conditions. And this geographical features and the conditions will tell you why did war happen. And then only you will be able to study the impacts of this war, the causes of this. After studying the causes of the war, you will understand the impacts of the war. And once you understand the impact of the war, going through the history towards the present stage is not a difficult task. So that is why understand the event first with its background history very well. Why, what, when, how. And once you know these 5 questions, then only proceed further. Okay, so let us start with today's discussion, that is the Mauryan Age with chronology first. Okay, now again let's revise. It was a Stone Age period when you will see Paleolithic age with respect to the 3 phases: lower Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic and the upper Paleolithic. During this Paleolithic age we saw how the stone tools developed. After that Mesolithic, after that Neolithic, after that the Chalcolithic, or what we call it as a Copper Age. Okay, after that we saw the Vedic Age, we saw later Vedic period. Now Vedic period right from 1500 BC to 1000 BC. Okay, the later Vedic period from 1000 BC to 600 BC. And after this, we'll see that how Metal Age grew in this context. And due to the initiation of the metal, especially with respect to iron innovation, we'll see that how Mahajanapadas will grow stronger. And among this Mahajanapadas, there would be 4 states which would be much more stronger. And among these 4 states, there is only one state known as the Magadha Empire, which will grow stronger and stronger. And as and when we study this Magadha Empire, okay, we'll see that how this Magadha Empire is carried out through the different dynasties. Now, this different dynasties we covered in the last lecture with respect to the Haranyaka dynasty, Shishunag dynasty, the Nanda dynasty, or especially the Mahananda who was the Shudra who killed the last ruler of the Shishunag dynasty. And the last is the Mauryan dynasty. The Mauryan dynasty. Now, this is the one of the most important dynasty of the story of Magadha Empire. Now, this Mauryan dynasty is the dynasty where you will see the Chandragupta Maurya, who would be evolving as one of the stronger and the intelligent king, who would be having a good kind of administration, which is being assisted by the Kautilya or the Chanakya, who is considered, even in today's date, who is considered as one of the, more intelligent economist of the time. Okay, so here this story begins when Chandragupta Maurya would throw out the Nanda dynasty. Okay, now it was the Nanda dynasty who would be seeing the peak of the Magadha Empire. Now it was Chandragupta who threw away the Nanda dynasty and tried to conquer the Indian subcontinent. Now, during Nanda dynasty, the conquering of the states was not that expanded as it expanded during the Chandragupta Maurya period. Now, here in this period, it's more mixture, more development of the foreign plus domestic elements. Here the foreigner travelers would be coming, foreign ambassadors would be coming, they would be residing in our kingdoms, they would be, writing about the society, they would be writing about the administration, okay. Secondly, we would be having the external trade affairs with a number of countries. Now, previously we were having the Western connections, especially with respect to Iran or the African region. But here, during this period, we are moving towards the Eastern world also, especially the present Asian nations. Okay, so how does it evolves? How does it goes? Let's start with our today's discussion. Okay, so here is some sample of the UPSC question which was asked in 2016. Although this is working as a sample. Here, the question was asked in 2016 about the Sunga dynasty. Now, the question was, which one of the following books of the ancient India has the love story of the son of the famous Sunga dynasty? Now, please don't worry, we have not yet completed the Sunga dynasty, but yes, we would be completing the Sunga dynasty after the Mauryan period. Okay, this is just a fact to show you what you need to prepare and how you need to prepare the history for your preliminary examination. Okay, so here as I have emphasized in the last lecture that you need to access the concepts and the terminologies regarding these sources and the literature which was evident from the ancient period, because these are only the low hanging fruits from where the UPSC would be asking the question. Okay, now the question was, which of the ancient books talks about the love story of the son of the founder of Sunga dynasty? Now, although the answer is Swapna Vasavadatta, okay, Swapna Vasavadatta, but here again we don't know the history up till now. Okay, we will of course dive in depth what was the story behind the story. Okay, and we'll interestingly come to know how did the answer came of Swapna Vasavadatta. Okay, so let us begin with our today's journey.